Oh shit. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Full Steam Ahead. I am your host for today, Cantu, with my boy Esteban on the other line. How's it going, Esteban?
Good, good. Having a good Thursday evening. It's a little rain delay here, but ready to go. Ready to kick off and recap the series.
Yeah, like someone said, 9 o'clock start time for the Astros and Pirates. Originally a 5:40 start time, but the rain really got them good. This is what Astros fans never have to deal with the Astros having a roof that's really never open, right? I guess you call it a roof, the retractable roof, right? But yeah, I think this is one of like the little blessings if you're an Astros fans because you don't gotta worry about no rain delays. You still get to enjoy some, Cracker Jack peanuts, whatever you like, a beer, whatever you like to do at the game. So,
And
and always leaving on time.
especially with the sticky weather here in Houston, it feels nasty, but it sure be nice to have the roof open some days, see the beautiful cities, the bit of backdrop.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like I would say early in the season, still not so hot. Even though those September months start getting a little cool. So I mean, really nice skyline, really nice view. Like I remember when the college teams were at Minute Park, they had the roof
Oh
open.
yeah.
It looks really nice. So.
It feels great out there too, on the roofs open, the college series and
Yeah.
stuff. Good baseball being played too. A lot of young sneaky talent out there.
Absolutely, man. I don't know, literally, because what Jack Caglione's already in the playing for the
Yeah, he's
Kansas City
already up.
Royals.
That was
Got his
quick.
first, now getting his first major league hit too there. So and RBI all in one. So awesome, awesome games going on in college. But the Astros again are playing against the Pirates. They're trying to clinch the series victory with Fernando Valdez on the mound. That's currently going on. Jerry Pena lead it off with a double, but again couldn't do it right now. But right now, we hope you're pulling double duty right now. You're listening to us, but also watching the game. So let's get it going.
We
Uh,
really appreciate y'all that are multitasking and those who are tapping in, as men and women. We appreciate you giving us your valuable time and giving us a listen.
Absolutely. Just to give you a glance of what's to come, we're going to be recapping the first two games of this Pittsburgh series. We're also going to be having a preview against the Cleveland Guardians. Latest on Astros injury, and then Stefan's going to be giving you some the latest on the prospects that are could be looming over there in Sugarland and Corpus Christi. But before we get everything started, again, you can find us on X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. That's at Full Steam Ahead. Instagram is FSA Full Steam Ahead. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify podcasts as well. But the Astros are 33 and 28. Right now, as it stands, they're first in the AL West by half a game up on Seattle. And they started up this series off with a bang. They won 3-0. Lance McCullers was great again. Got his first victory since September 21st, 2022. So I'm sure that one meant a lot to him, especially waiting so long, battling back injuries, battling back that, horrific start against the Reds, but it looks like he's firing it again. He's 1-1 with a 4.44 ERA. Versus Pittsburgh, he went 6 innings, 2 hits, 0 runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Only needed 96 pitches to finish sixth. He threw 31 sliders, 27 sinkers, 18 changeups. Now, the key to this is his slider. Just like it was in 2022, 2021, when Lance McCullers was young, healthy, was in his prime, I guess you can say. The slider has always been great. The slider this year has an expected batting average of 1.92, so under 200. It has a whip rate of 27.7% and a put away pitch of 22%. So that slider's been really doing its job. What have you liked of Lance McCullers so far, so?
He's bounced back, came back, he's here. here to stay, and hopefully you can just continue to dominate and continue to grow mentally and prepare for better. I think he's
Absolutely,
doing
and
well, and his better days are to come. He's just barely starting again. So fans, be patient and believe in him.
absolutely. And like Zoe and I had said earlier, when he had that Reds outing, that was the worst, right? And the thing about starting at the worst is the only thing you can go is up, and that's exactly what he's done. Shout out to him for having that mental toughness because that's what baseball is. It's a game. It's a mental game. It can take a toll when things are going right, but you got to be able to climb off of that. He's done that job. Lance McCullers has been pitching well, but again, had his first win this upcoming, and the bullpen was really helpful for him. Sean Dubin with an inning, only allowing one hit. Brian Brady followed up in the eighth with an inning, one hit, and then Josh Hader just been out of this world so far. Got the save by pitching an inning and striking out too. Although the Astros won the game, they only mustered 5 hits, but they were big ones. Christian Walker hit a home run off Paul Skeens, had a 102.1 exit velocity, would have been a home run in all fields. And then Isaac Bright putting the cherry on the cake, or the icing on the cake, as you can say, with a 2-run home run to kind of give the Astros some assurance. It was 103.6 exit velo. It traveled 403 feet. Now, I know the Astros didn't score all their runs with 2 outs, but it's a little fun fact that for the Astros have scored nearly half of their runs this season with 2 outs, scoring 109 off their two out of their 242 runs, which is about 45.6% in that situation. 37 of the last Astros 68 runs have come with 2 outs in an inning. And that's been literally the key difference because the Astros have been in some tight games, tight, series, but being able to come in with 2 outs and produce, that's something that the Astros have been missing for a very long time.
Most definitely.
And then I'm going to give you, so we're talking about Lance McCullers, you know, pitching great, doing great, has back to back solid outings. And while I was looking through the pitch preview, I noticed that it's going to be starting off with Colton Gordon, Hunter Brown, and then after Hunter Brown, it's Lance McCullers. But for Sunday's game, the Astros have listed as a TBA, and that's Lance McCullers start. So whenever you see that TBA, when guy, I'm sure Astros fans kind of clench their teeth a little bit, kind of wonder what's wrong. But this is what per China Rome the Astros are considering giving Lance McCullers Jr. an extra day between starts, which is why they're listing at TBA for Sunday in Cleveland. Joe Espada didn't rule out McCullers starting the game, but it doesn't. But if he doesn't, it's because they want the extra rest. Now, this is a situation where the Astros have done this year with Hayden Wesneski, right? With Hayden Wesneski, he was given extra days. He missed the start for extra rest. They brought in, I think, what AJ Bluebot to take over that one, and him was actually started, the following 5 days. Now, if you're an Astros fan, you're kind of wondering, is Lance McCullers hurt? What's wrong? What are they not telling you? I'd say this is a different case for Lance McCullers. The reason I say this is because with Hayden Wesneski, he was coming off probably his worst start of this year. He only had one strikeout, allowed to make what I believe 3-4 runs. Wasn't really that efficient, which made the Astros give him that extra day of rest because he was kind of hurting. I don't think this is the same case. I just think this is the Lance McCullers who's coming back for 2 years without pitching. And again, how we talk to you about every day, it's a marathon. They want him healthy. They're going to need him healthy for the remainder of the season, especially with all the injuries they've had in the starting rotation. So, giving Lance McCullers a few days extra rest, I think will be beneficial for the long run. And I don't think no panic should be ensuing right now.
Yeah, they should let the guy rest up. You want him to keep pushing. You don't want to wrap him up too hard and start feeling fatigue again or something. And that's the last thing you want from an injured starting rotation right now.
Yeah, because if you look at this rotation seven right now, it's Hunter Brown, Trevor Valdez, Lance McCullers, and that's pretty much it. I know we had this conversation last podcast, but they're gonna need all of those three guys if they want to make a push to the rotation. I'd say if one of those three goes down, it's gonna be very hard to win the AL West, just because you still don't know what you're getting from Christian Javier. You still don't know when you're getting Luis Garcia. I know JP France has is going to start a rehab assignment. Well, not sorry, not rehab assignment. But it's going to start throwing a live pitching in Florida. So I think out of Christian Javier, Luis Garcia, JP France, I think he's the closest out of all three.
Mm.
But at
Oh, I
this point,
believe I believe they got Eric Getty playing catch again too, so that's a good sign.
okay,
They ramping back up, so maybe hope will return soon.
yeah, definitely. But as of right now, if you're going to be led to the playoffs, it's going to be those three guys. Especially since the Astros are relying on Gordon, they're relying on
So
Gusto to kind of eat some innings up and keep him in games. But as that's shown, that's not always going to work out. Like I think out of Gusto and Gordon, Gordon has been a little bit more efficient. He's been able to go 5 innings a little bit, but he still allows his runs. He still, actually his walk rate's pretty good, but still allows his runs, still gets into that trouble, right? So I'd say give McCullers the time he needs. I don't think it'll be a next like 10 days. I think it'll be like maybe 5 days at most. Just one start. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets like an extra 2 3 days of rest either. So, but they have an off day on Monday, so it could be helpful for him to get that Tuesday start. Get a little more days to heal up. But I think this could be potentially a good move for the Astros and for Lance McCullers because they're gonna need him in September. They're gonna need him in the playoffs to make it.
yeah, for his first outing against the Pirates, he literally faced nobody in that lineup, and especially going against Paul Skeens, he did an excellent job. I
Yep.
believe Paul Skeens threw 69% strike rate, and McCullers was sitting at 64% strike, so that's not bad
Yeah,
from a guy
absolutely. And
that's
then
banged up compared to a guy that's barely coming into the league and he's on all four. That's very good signs.
yeah, absolutely. I think what the Astros go against the Guardians is coming up, and then on Tuesday they'll be going against the White Sox. So an easier matchup for Lance McCullers too, I would say, instead of trying to sneak in a
Hey,
game against the Guardians.
don't get too ahead of yourself though. Sometimes the White Sox like to get on
No,
some
no,
good
no,
guys.
no. And you're definitely right. You're definitely right, right? But I would say
Yeah,
if
you'd
you're a
be less
starting
less.
pitcher, who would you rather go against, right? So I mean, at the end of the day, no
Everybody's
matter
an
if it's the
MLB hitter.
yeah, exactly. Like no matter if it's the Rockies, if it's the White Sox, they're still getting paid to hit the ball, and they have the talent to do it, right? So, but again, good move, bad move. You let us know in the comments. Tell us what you think. But I'd say I'd say this is a good move for the Astros, giving them and some extra time. We do have a comment that says right here, keep an eye on the Montway Jr. and CJ Alexander in the upcoming days. Lefty bats that are now available that could be intriguing for a team in need of a left-handed hitter. Bennett Rogers DFA likely incoming as a result. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't be a bad idea. I think the Astros have gotten away a little bit when they do face like a right-handed hitter because they're able to sneak in those wins, those close games. But I think you know, in the playoffs when you got those matchups going, you are getting some little counter moves with a left-handed hitter. So could be. The Maui Jr. actually is a surprising one that he got DFA'd. He
He's a pretty solid player. I was
he
surprised when I
actually
seen it too.
he actually got an MVP vote in his career before. I remember I was looking at it, I was like, there's no way. I think it was uh let me see, I'm looking it up right now. It was in 2021. He got one MVP vote with the Giants. So I mean, talents. I mean, he's shown that he can hit. Obviously, not having a season for him, maybe a change of scenery might do him some good. So could be. But what you got us for game two, Stefan?
Game two. Let's see. Well, pitching, Ryan Gusso struggled again. Couldn't find his command. The walk havoc still seems to be a thing for him. With only a 4.78 ERA, he's now 3-3, 4.1 innings pitched, 8 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, and 3 Ks. 83 pitches, 25 fastballs, 18 curveballs, 16 sweepers, 11 sinkers, 8 cutters, and 5 changeups. With only 52 pitches in the strike zone, 31 out of them were strikes. So that's not really the best thing you would like to see out of somebody that you kind of want to depend on. But let's see what happens next to see if he could bounce back again. That's what we've been hoping on to see if he could prove who he is and find who he is again.
Yeah, Ryan Gusto did a better job of throwing, being in the zone. Like it was 52 pitches in the strike zone, 31 out of the strike zone. But at the end of the day, he didn't really miss a lot of bats. So he's kind of leaving like a lot of pitches out of the plate, getting into deep counts. I think he had what 40 something pitches in the first 3 innings. That's probably not, that's not what you want as a starting pitcher. I think Ryan Gusto needs to figure out a way to at least hit five and give the Astros a chance. I mean, he gave much. I mean, 3 runs is not bad, but he needs to be able to throw a little bit more pitches in order for him to, have a more efficient outing. I think right now, once one of the injured guys goes, is healthy, I think Ryan Gusto's the odd man out right now, especially the way Gordon will pitch in Cleveland. If he does a great job, I think that like that short leash on Ryan Gusto is just beginning to smaller and smaller there. But I mean the Astros just this wasn't a good game for the Astros. I mean like pitching wise nor
Offensively, it
and
was not a
yeah
good game either. With especially with Mike Burrows going 5.1 innings, 5 hits, 0 earned runs, 6 Ks. He does have a 5.27 ERA, but it was not looking like that against us. He was exposing us and throwing the changeup a lot.
yeah, and I think this was his best start of his career, honestly.
Yes. And he
Because
is a rookie, to mention, just for those who
yeah,
may not know or not familiar with the name or who he was. Yes, he's a rookie, and he's proven that he's here with his outing
yeah,
against the Astros.
Burrows had allowed 4 runs in each of his first 2 starts this season, and he's at least walked two in his first 2 starts, and literally had 5 total strikeouts in his first 2 starts, and
Yeah.
completely
And then he
changed.
comes against the Astros, and he's like, "Yep, I'm gonna be their kryptonite today."
Exactly 5 hits, no, like you said, no walks, 6 strikeouts. Literally pitched great. The longest outing I believe of his career so far.
But besides that, Pena was able to keep his 10 game hitting streak going. Um, and Altuve is now 2,293, second in the all-time hitting list on active players, following Freddie Freeman. So that's a
Oh
pretty
wow,
cool
did not know that. So
one.
appreciate the
Just
appreciate the stat.
a little info.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, and the bullpen has been better compared to the other series. Oh,
Yeah,
Kurt was.
Stephen O'Curry
Go
was
ahead.
better. 1.2 innings pitched, 0 hits, and 1 K. Brian King, 1.0 pitches, 2 Ks, and Bennett Souza, 1 innings pitched and 1 K. So they all seem to pick up a strikeout and no walks and no hits either. They flawlessly went through the innings, kept us, tried to keep us in the game, but offense struggled, couldn't get us back, and we ended up losing that one shortly, 3-0.
Yeah, like I said, like I said, the offense struggled. They didn't really get that many hits either.
Yes, the offense, we had 7 hits, 5 singles, and 2 doubles. They left all 7 runners on, which is terrible. That's literally the last thing you would want. 0 for 4 with runners in scoring positions.
Yeah, I mean, and I just praise the Astros for being able to score runs with 2 outs, but game 2 of this Pirate series was not the case for there. I mean, the Astros just it wasn't their night, and nights like this are gonna happen, but you just literally you don't hope to win every game in baseball, but you do hope to win series, and I think that's what the Astros can, hopefully do. They have, like I said, they have Framber Valdez right now pitching, and I know it's a late start, and what's tricky with these delay games is, and I would say for like a guy like Framber is they have a routine, right? They have a routine. Their mentality is to pitch, and then when you get what a 4 hour rain delay, that can kind of affect your
Yeah,
outing right now. So far so good for Framber though. He's gone through 2 innings without allowing any runs or anything like that. He does have a man on third as we speak with
with
one out.
1 out and
Yeah,
the bad bat O'Neill Cruz up to bat.
yeah.
That's the last
So
guy you want.
well, the thing is, it's a lefty lefty matchup, so you would assume. Valdez has the advantage on that. But I guess it's the waiting game there. So we won't really talk about game three because, like I said, it's going on so far. But I guess we can start with our overall thoughts. And Lance McCullers is just what the Astros need right now. He's been good, and that's what the Astros are gonna need from him, like to kind of piggyback up of Brown Valdez and piggyback up of Hunter Brown. They're gonna need that third starter. Yes, you have, I think as long as Lance McCullers is pitching good, you can kind of get away with throwing Gusto and Colton Gordon in the meantime while the other guys get healthy. But if Lance McCullers is not pitching well, then I think a move will need to be made, some reinforcements to that starting rotation. Obviously, the Astros don't want to throw Gusto and Gordon every single outing. So if it seems like a JP France has a setback or can be back, or Christian Javier can be back, then I think a move will need to be made.
A little recap. It was as far as for the guys that were hitting, which was really good. Walker, his eighth homer on Skeens, which was a sweeper down the middle, was the first, I believe, in 30.8 innings for Paul Skeens. And Paredes hit a beautiful two-run shot, which is the 12th home run of the season for him. Like you mentioned, 30 and 30 all ballparks. He is the leader in RBIs, I believe, and home runs for the Astros with 32 RBIs, and Pena follows with 30.
Okay, nice little stat right there. Now, I know you're just giving us some great stat about the offense, but the Astros offense was shut out for the sixth time this year, one of the most in the league in game two. And it's just, this is one of those days where the Astros aren't as efficient as they could be. You give credit to the other side to Burris, who was able to figure it out in his third start this season. But this Astros offense, especially when Goose and Gordon is on the mound, they're gonna have to kind of help those guys out a little bit. Uh, they're not going to be perfect, and you're not asking them to be perfect, but you're asking them to keep you in the game. And honestly, although Ryan Gusto went 4.1 innings, he did kind of keep him in the game a little bit, only allowing 3 runs. Didn't really make it, a big like 5, 6, 7 run outing. But at that point, the Astros just need to kind of help their boy out a little bit and, you know, help him get some confidence out. And the Astros just allowed their first run, but uh, it was a ground out, 2 outs, 1-0. Right now it's 1-0 Pirates, but with Fernando Valdez, you saw what he can do when he allows a run. He can easily, settle back in. So,
Came out,
hmm
lock in. Last time we seen him go all nine after letting the first leadoff run. So
yeah.
we'll see what happens the
So
rest of the night.
again, I think I'm not too worried about Fernando Valdez, and he shouldn't be if you're an Astros fan. But what right now, what Astros fans I think would be concerned about is the offense. The offense is going to continue scoring runs and all that good stuff. But lastly, before we finish overall thoughts, Josh Hader. Josh Hader continues to be great. He is 16 for 16 in save opportunities this season and has the most saves without a blown save in the majors. Hader has the second most saves in franchise history without a blown save to begin the season, behind only right-handed pitcher Dave Smith, who converted 21 saves to begin the season in 1989. So he still has what, 5 more saves to go without blowing a save, but the way he's looked so far, he's looked phenomenal. I know Astros fans were giving Josh Hader a lot of, you know, negative comments last year after his, signing that contract and, struggling in the beginning of the season, but he's been as advertised this season. There's a reason why the Astros gave him all that money, and he's showing it there because that's literally your fireballer at the end, locking in the win. And he's done that 16 times consecutive.
The fireman, I believe he has the most saves against the Pirates club too.
Oh,
Uh,
does
uh,
he?
yeah, he has 19 saves against the Pirates.
And the
So that's
Brewers,
a
that makes
team
sense.
that is number one up there against.
Yeah,
They don't definitely don't like seeing Hater.
absolutely. Well, I mean, if the Astros can score, a few runs, they might see him again. But Who they playing next, Evan?
We will be moving on to the next matchup on the road. The Astros continue the road trip and will be heading down to Cleveland, who are the 33 and 38 Cleveland Guardians. They are third in the AL Central. I thought they were second. They're third.
Third.
Okay.
I can double check right now, but it should be third.
As far as the Guardians, they're looking like a pretty nice offensive team right now. As far as defensively and pitching staff wise, their pitching staff has an ERA average of 3.98.
So
Um,
go ahead.
the main guys that are fueling the Guardians offense is Jose Ramirez, Steven Kwan, and Carlos Santana. Jose Ramirez is on a 31 on base streak, which you don't want him to keep that going against us. Carlos Santana is the RBI leader with 29, and Steven Kwan is a hot bat right now, batting 312. So those are guys that you might want to keep on your radar. And also, will Kyle Manzardo, their prospect, show up and play?
Yeah, they have a good squad in Cleveland. Honestly, if Detroit's not playing so good, they have a chance to be, first in that AL Central, honestly. But yeah, they've been great. And I mean, the Astros are going to be getting two of their best pitchers in this home. I mean, away in Cleveland. So, and like you said, Jose Ramirez, he's just a dog. There's a reason why he's always like, getting a ton of MVP votes because he's just that great. I think Isaac Paredes is playing well, but I don't think he outdoes Jose Ramirez for the All Star game. I think
Jose
right now.
Ramirez is like a very underappreciated, undervalued
Oh,
player around the
absolutely.
league. I believe he does everything really silently. Nobody tends to catch on, and then you see people commenting like, "Oh wow, I didn't know he was doing this or he was going on this and that." And it's just something that I don't know why he's just not praising enough for his talents.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially on the base path too. Like I
Very
know
sneaky.
he's the third baseman. You really don't see third baseman stealing a lot, but if he starts timing
Release and everything.
your release, he's got you. And speaking of Pirates, he just
Yeah,
tied the game up with a home run. Yeah, so
407 feet. That's a big shot.
there you go.
The other day was 403, and today 407. He said, "Hey, I got to go a little bit farther.
got to one
Got to
up
go
his.
out to flex the muscles," and that's a good sign. Hopefully, he continues to keep on going. Number 13 on the season, almost to 30.
Yeah, there you go. You know, it's gonna be a pretty close battle for third base in the All Star game between Jose Ramirez and Isaac Paredes. Right now, I think Jose Ramirez just does have a leg up in that competition, but that's just because again, he's just a really good player. Isaac Paredes too, right? But I think all around player, I think Jose Ramirez does got that, leg motion, but but Isaac Paredes turned around on the slider right down the middle. So there we go. But giving you this pitching preview between the Cleveland Guardians and the Houston Astros. It starts on Friday with a 7:10 start time. Colton Gordon versus Logan Allen. Gordon has yet to record his first win of his career. He is 0-1 with a 5.95 ERA. He's gone versus Tampa Bay. He did pitch 5 innings. He allowed 4 earned runs, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is Gordon's third time pitching 5 innings or at least 5 innings. But I'm trying to get that number right now. I don't know where my phone is tripping right now, but yes, it's his third consecutive start where he's gone at least 5 innings. That's what the Astros need to be able to pitch five and then hand it off to the relievers to help you out there. But although Colton Gordon has allowed at least 3 runs in every single outing of his career, he has pitched into some bad luck. So his expected ERA, like I told you, his ERA right now is 5.95. However, his expected ERA is 2.66. So if things were to fall Gordon's way, he would have a 2.66 ERA. His expecting batting average on the sweeper is 0.198. His actual batting average is 333. So a big difference there. And his expected batting average on his fastball is 201. His actual is 310. So Gordon's made some great pitches, but unfortunately has been falling into a lot of bad luck. As of right now, I think he has like the edge over Gusto to stay in the rotation after one of the injured guys comes back.
I'm
Uh,
with you on that one.
Perfect. Yeah. Again, he's just pitched pretty good. He'll be going against Logan Allen, who's 3-3 with a 4.22 ERA. And you may look at their ERA, but just like we told you with the Tampa Bay series, that's just the number. These guys can really pitch. Last time Allen came out the bullpen, which is against the Angels. He pitched 1 inning with 2 strikeouts. His last start was actually, I believe, 10 days ago. It was on May 25th against the Tigers. He did only go 3 and 2/3 of an inning, 6 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. Excuse me. Does have a 5 pitch mix with a sweeper, fastball, changeup, cutter, and sinker. Will mostly throw the sweeper and the fastball. So the Astros will be seeing a heavy dose of those. Now, for Logan Allen, I know he just came out the bullpen. This is a pretty big start for him. He hasn't been pitching pretty efficiently, and the Guardians were comfortable moving him to the bullpen. So if he wants to stay in the rotation, this is a good team to kind of prove to your manager that hey, this is I'm here to stay in the rotation. So could be in a little underrated matchup there.
Yeah, with an offense like Houston, not so hot, but not struggling. This is a good outing for Logan, but also even better for outing for Colton to show that he can
Mm.
provide against a hot hitting team. So this will be good to both sides of this to learn for both teams and see which pitching staff has the upper hand.
Yeah, and you make a good point there. So this is like I'm saying, this is like going to be an underrated pitching matchup because both guys have something to prove. Both guys want to stay in
Stay
the
on the roster.
rotation. Yes, Sander Ross or too, because both guys could still have options left.
Options.
So this is going to be a good matchup. I think I don't know who has the advantage here, but it'll be a good matchup. It just depends which offense
The
can
team,
pick
the
up
team that the team that's getting offensive support is gonna have the the better matchup.
Absolutely.
Whoever's the
Because
one that scores first probably be the one that might just keep maintaining the game.
yeah, because literally I think the Cleveland are like the Ash a little bit where they have these runs where they can score runs and then these runs where they
They'll
just
drive. They'll drive.
exactly.
They got
So
nothing.
yeah, so it'll be it'll be a good one there. Now, if you're a fan of high velocity pitches and fastballs, then Saturday's matchup is for you. Saturday's 4:10 start time, Hunter Brown versus Gavin Williams. We all know about Hunter Brown's 99 mile per hour fastball, 98 stays around there. He's 8-3 with a 1.83 ERA. Versus Tampa, he was great. 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. And among AL pitchers, right-handed pitcher Hunter Brown ranks tied for first in wins, second in hits per nine with 5.74. He ranks third in ERA with a 1.83. He has 84 strikeouts that puts him in fourth in the AL, fifth in WHIP, and eighth in strikeouts per 9 innings. And he's going to be going against Gavin Williams, who's 5-3, 3.79, and has a fastball average of 96.8. So, again, both of these pitchers throw fast. Both of these pitchers have a great breaking pitch that complements that high velocity fastball. Gavin Williams, like I said, 5-3, 3.79 ERA versus the Angels. He was phenomenal too. 6.2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Has a 6 pitch arsenal as a fastball, sweeper, curveball, cutter, sinker, and changeups. The Astros are most likely going to be seeing a pitch between, it makes it between the fastball, sweeper, and curveball. And the reason is he has a great fastball. So when he has a great fastball, that sweeper, that curveball starts at the same eye level of the fastball and then just drops. And that's what he tries to get hitters on. Again, like I said, 88 percentile fastball with an average of 96.8. And when you have a good fastball, your secondary pitches are your bread and butter, and that sweeper's been pretty great. He has opponent batting average on sweepers 1.179. He has a 44.2 whiff rate on the sweeper and 24% put away pitch on it too. So a great matchup here.
Yeah, not lots of junk gonna be thrown. There'll be a lot of high velocity pitches, so batters be ready to jump on stuff early. You never know which pitch is gonna be good. You might just get a bunch of junk after the fast couple two down the middle.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd say take advantage of mistakes when you can because you're probably not going to get very many out of Hunter Brown or Gavin Williams. But on Sunday's game, like I said, it is to be determined. It might be Lance McCullers again. They haven't ruled him out completely. However, it could be somebody else. As of right now, who could probably replace Hunter Brown? I mean, you got guys like maybe AJ Blueball is the first one that comes to mind. I don't think the Astros uh will be doing a bullpen game. However, it wouldn't surprise me if they do just because they do have an off day on Monday. But the Astros in bullpen games, that's really I know I'm sure they've done it a few times, but you really don't hear about it much coming from the Astros. I think they'd rather toss somebody up because I remember when they even brought up Blair Henley last year instead of
Oh
having a
yeah,
bullpen game, right? So I mean, it turned out to be a bullpen game, right? But
and they
uh,
did Joe. Well, no, what's his name? The guy we traded to Toronto, the
oh,
pitcher,
Bloss,
Bloss. Yeah, it's
Bloss,
Jake
yeah,
Bloss, the young guy, Jake Bloss too.
yeah.
So they did
So
experiment a couple times. Even with last season, they tried doing Taylor Scott, right? They tried
yeah,
doing Taylor Scott against Paul Skeens at Minute Maid, and he only went 3 innings, which that game actually tended to work out, but the Astros fell short.
yeah. But it's interesting is that they're going to be in Cleveland. Like if they're in Houston, Sugarland is what a
They're down the
45-minute
street.
drive.
Yeah,
So uh, it could be they can bring a guy up Sunday morning if they want, or Saturday night and be ready to pitch. But since they're in Cleveland, it'll be interesting to see who joins the team over there, who's put into the taxi squad, because I might give you an idea of who might it be. Right now, again, like I say, it could be AJ Blueball a little bit. It could be uh someone that we haven't heard much about, but it's just wait and see. And it could also be Lance McCullers again, hasn't been ruled completely out. But before I give you who's Sunday for Cleveland, the Astros just took a 4-1 lead thanks to is that Jacob Melton?
yes, it was Jacob Melton.
I don't have my
Yeah,
glasses
Jacob
on. So
Melton. Yeah,
there
Jacob
you go.
Melton on this single.
There you go. So Astros,
Two come in.
when you get
Two come in on,
4-1,
on an RBI single from the Rook.
there
That's
you
something
go.
you would like to see in, I believe, his third, fourth game.
Yeah.
Already providing for the offense. So somebody that maybe you might see his name familiar and might hear it around a lot more.
Absolutely. And like you said, that's what the Astros need. And I was looking at Sundays. I'm sorry, yesterday's game, and I think besides Jake Myers, only the top of the lineup got a hit. So having that production on the bottom of the lineup is going to be really good for the Astros. Again, two out hitting too. So I know I just
Yeah,
gave you that.
and Jacob Draws really good at bats. I mean, as you've seen in his only a second game against Paul Skeens, he works a full count, sees multiple pitches, draws a walk. It doesn't lead to nothing, but that's little things that go a long way to bring more runners on base, to cause more havoc, or to get a pitcher out of his groove. And that's the little things that you want the advantage of in baseball. It's not just always a hit a home run or this and that. It's the little things that are going to build up to the homer, to the bases clearing double, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you were late to the podcast, I did give this stat earlier about the Astros and two outs. So I'll say it one more time. The Astros have scored nearly half of their runs this season with two outs, scoring 109 of their 242 total runs in that situation. Well, that number just went up thanks to Jacob Melton. And it also says 37 of the last Astros 68 runs have come with two outs in an inning. Again, that number just went up as well. So two out hitting, something that you haven't really seen from the Astros in the past season, is really showing up now.
And a bunch of hard hit baseballs the other day too for Cam Smith, but he wasn't finding no luck. I was here. There might be speculation because I think Oregon State and Florida are facing each other, so they're saying that they might have a little tension between the two rooks going at it in the clubhouse. But it seems like a phenomenal outfield building with Jake Myers, Cam, and Jacob Melton all being able to track and hog down balls. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
could cover a lot of grounding, decent arms out there. So the future's bright. Hopefully, everybody could pan out, and let's see what we could get going on here. The second half coming around soon.
Yeah, speaking of Cam, he was like I said, it was a home run by Zach Bettis, and then Cam Smith RBI made it 2-1, and then Jacob Melton's two out hit made it 4-1. So can't miss,
And Pena
sweeper.
almost missed a home run. It was a pretty awkward swing because he fell down to his knee, but the pitch was inside and literally like hits the top of the left field wall. But it was smoke like on the line. It was crazy. Everybody was like tripping out because they were like, I don't know how he hit that.
Yeah. So I guess the Astros are really seeing Mitch Kelly. I mean, Mitch Kelly pretty good, you know, today. So you know, when you got Framber Valdez on the mound, sometimes 4 runs is enough. So you just hope for him to pitch a good, clean, rest of the day. Be an Astros fan. But go ahead. Did you say something?
No, I'm good.
Cool. But going back to Sunday's game again, it's a 1:40 start time. It's to be determined for the Astros, but they will be facing Tanner Bybee. Bybee is 4-6 with 3.89 ERA. Again, that record doesn't do justice to how great Bybee has been. Against the Yankees, he went 6.1 innings pitched with 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Six pitch mix between a fastball, cutter, sweeper, sinker, changeup, and curveball. Now, a key thing with all of these three pitchers the Astros are going to face against the Cleveland is that sweeper. You're going to see a heavy dosage of the sweepers pitch because that's what they throw best. However, Tanner Bybee, although he is pitching not too bad, he's been better the past 2 years. Right now, he's a lot of his pitches are finding the barrel, which his barrel percentage is 10.2, which is the highest of his career, and he has allowed 5 home runs off the fastball. This is a guy where he actually could probably take advantage, but if he has a good day like he did against the Yankees, it could be a hard day in the office for the Astros. But moving on to Astros injuries, we're not going to really speak about Jordan Alvarez because again we haven't really had any updates since the last time we talked about it. So let's start with Ronald Blanco. Ronald Blanco, like you said, he's going to be out for the rest of the season. However, he is scheduled to undergo Tommy John surgery tomorrow. So he was originally placed on the injury list on May 22nd. So I guess wish Ronald Blanco all the best on that and a speedy recovery because I know Astros fans are ready to see him back on the mound next year.
Yeah, that was a tough blow.
And especially with Hayden Wisniewski out as well. And Stefan brought out last podcast, Zach DeZenzo was hit by a pitch. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if he was hit by a pitch, but had a hurt left hand. And they got the diagnosis. He has a capsule strain in his left hand, and he'll be reimagined in 2 weeks. Now, he'll be. I'm sure he's being reimagined in 2 weeks just because kind of like all the Jordan Alvarez uncertainty where they really couldn't see much because of this inflammation and it was a lot of liquid in there. I'm not sure if this is the same situation that Jordan Alvarez is, but I think they just want to be sure that he's good to go. And this is again, I know Jacob Mudson just had a 2 out RBI single, but Zach Zenzo was playing great in the outfield too. This is a guy that, I think the Astros want back right away just because of how effective he's been in the out defensively and offensively as well.
Yeah, he's an electric player. He's a very good bottom barrel guy.
Absolutely. But before we let you go, I know we have a new segment real quick is what's going down in the farm and what you got for us, Evan.
So today in the farm, I got two notable players. We have been asking for pitching help due to the lack of injuries going on. So a guy to keep on the radar, we have Miguel Ulola with another gem yesterday. He went 5 innings, 7 Ks, 3 walks, 1 hit, no runs, which was also named the PCL Player of the month of May. He throws a fastball, curveball, slider, and a changeup. In May, Miguel went 5 games with a 1.17 ERA, 23 innings pitched, 14 hits, 3 earned runs, 13 walks, and 34 strikeouts. I seen the kid, seen his footage, I've seen his film. He looks like could be one of those sneaky weapons. I seen a post where they said this time around the year, Astros always tend to roll out with some type of sneaky pitching prospect or somebody to bring up, and they tend to dominate. So maybe it's prayers for the answers that we need right here. Maybe it's somebody that could come up and help and replace of Gusto, or if anything else comes down the line.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly if one of those players will pitch on Sunday if Las McCullers doesn't. But I mean, they have options. You
Yeah, no,
know,
I don't think
it,
Miguel will come up
yeah, I don't think so
100%
either.
for this
But
game because he just pitched yesterday. But I think we may be seeing a call up for sure this season if he continues to do what he is doing. And as far as for a bat, the guy that is now on the big league roster as well due to injury, Shea Whitcomb. Shea Whitcomb was named upper level minor league player of the month as well with 31 hits, 19 singles, 12 homers, 31 RBIs, and at all of that, no doubles. Slugging only .60 and an on base percentage of 1,059. So I mean, who sees? Maybe he makes a cut into the lineup one of these days, and you may see him in the Cleveland series off the bench, or maybe he gets a start. Somebody that, if he's doing hot in the minors, why cool him down? Maybe plug him in. Maybe it could be a sneaky weapon.
yeah, Shea Whitcomb, I think, has only had one at bat in the season, but he just got caught up, like Stevan said. So this is a guy, I mean, that could be, getting some at bats.
He's tearing it
I
up.
don't,
He's tearing it up in the minors. So if
yeah,
he if he could continue and bring that into the big leagues, I mean, it is different pitching for sure, but some guys tend to just have that in them.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I, I think right now only Whitcomb comes in the game if it's like a blowout or an injury replacement, just to give a guy a break. But I
Mhm.
think if he can take advantage of his opportunities, and the Astros are just forced to give another eye. Like that's what Zach Dezenzo did. He wasn't playing much in the beginning, but he took advantage of his opportunities, and now he's was an everyday player before he got hurt. Right. So I mean, sometimes you got to take your chance, grab it by the horns, and make the Astros organization see you. And I think the fact that he was promoted means they do that, but now it's just gaining that trust in the big leagues is what needs to happen for Shea Wickham.
Yeah. Another good one too is Bryce Matthew is back on the road after his concussion. He is back like nothing ever happened on a 10-game hitting streak. Hopefully, the young prospect, which is our number one prospect in the farm, could continue on doing his things. I don't see anything of him coming up this season, but I do believe in the Astros letting him get more opportunities. So don't ever be surprised, but I would not like to rush somebody like this. I would like to let him develop and get as many games in as he wants and can
Yeah,
possibly get.
absolutely. Now, I know you're telling us the highlights of great minor league players right now. Pedro Leon is another guy in the minors, but he was on a
Was injured,
rehab assignment.
right?
Yeah,
Came
he
back
was he
again.
was on a rehab assignment, but it felt some discomfort, so that is stopped there. So still uncertainty of Pedro Leon when he'll start doing baseball activities right again. And this was a left knee sprain that he re-aggravated. But we know the game's on, right? So we're not going to keep you up too much. I'll let you focus on the game a little bit. As a shorter podcast, just because again we didn't have that game three recap because the game was delayed, and we don't know exactly who that game three pitcher for the Astros will be. But we had, I think, one of the better crowds we have as of late. So we appreciate all of you joining while the game is on. So shout out to you. I'm glad you like hearing our voice a little bit more than the broadcast voice. you know, as we give you this, semi, play by play as we did stop, to give you some updates on game three here. But like I said, we appreciate all the support. We won't keep you too long just because, so you can enjoy the game later. And again, if you please feel free to comment during the podcast. We love hearing your input on our takes. If you agree with us, disagree. So, I want you to spam the comments section next time.
And
You know,
also one not to forget to mention out there for y'all, baseball fanatics, it is All Star voting. So go out there and vote for your favorite All Star players, whether it's in Houston or whether it's anybody in MLB. And
absolutely.
your vote matters.
Yeah, definitely. They take everything into account. So I think what you still get 25 votes. I think one per day. So, if you really want your
Still
favorite
plenty of
player to
time,
be
ready starting. So go ahead, vote your favorite player in, and hope for the best.
absolutely. But we appreciate you all the support. We appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for our support. Seb, want to get any last words before we Go.
Just hope we have a good series upcoming. Everybody has a good remainder of the week and enjoys their weekend. And hear us back soon.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. So thank you and peace.